Bright lights, bright lights. Hi and welcome to this week's Gosling Hill Unitarian Church Hampstead Bright Lights. If you have a candle, now is a great time to light it with your family. We are the chapel of the open mind, the loving hearts and the helping hands. If you'd like to press the pause to reflect button and share your joys and concerns with your family, now is a great time to do that. So this is the last week in May. I was almost going to say June. We're almost at the beginning of June and it's the last week of the theme story. So I have a story for you and a colouring in sheet that you can do as part of the story. I'd also just like to thank you all for tuning into Bright Lights, because this will be the final Bright Lights as chapel returns or is returning. And also I am no longer going to be Children's Chapel Coordinator at Gosling Hill. I am so infinitely grateful for being the coordinator since December last year, so not the one just gone but the one before. I know a lot of it has been through lockdown, but I was so pleased for the time that I have spent with you in person, and I'm still very much a chapel member, and I will be coming to chapel when I can, but because of work commitments and also my family who aren't coming to chapel with me, they need me a lot, and I won't be able to come with them, so I need to be with them at home. Does that make any sense? If they want to come to chapel though, I would love that. So I will be seeing you hopefully a few Sundays a month, but I will not be Children's Chapel Coordinator. And I think Reverend Kate and Mercedes will be the ones to ask if you have any questions about that. So here we are with the last story of the month, and it's a wonderful story, and it's an African folklore story called Hare's Gifts. Hare is a bit like a bunny, isn't it? But with longer ears, so longer ears. Just imagine that. You might be able to spot him on the colouring sheet if you have it. And you can colour in the sheet while I read the story if you like. A long time ago, before there were people on earth, there were many different animals that lived all over. Some of the animals lived in the grasslands, but they did not live too close to each other because they thought it was best that way. One such animal was Hyena. He decided that he needed a new home, and so he found the perfect place. It was far away from all the other animals, near sweet, hold on, near sweet water, and protected by the shade of the baobab tree. Hyena wanted the best home possible, so everyone who would see it would know how important he was in the grasslands. So he had the best builder in the land build it and decorate it for him. It took a whole moon's time to build. Maybe, does that mean a whole month? A whole moon's time to build. And when it was done, Hyena threw a party to show it off. He hired the best chef in the land to cook the food, and there was so much that it took a week to cook it all. Wow, that sounds like quite a good party for a new home. Hyena invited everyone to his party, and everyone came and greatly admired his fine new home and of course the delicious feast. Everyone, that is, except Hare. This made Hyena mad, like as in angry. It made him mad. Why was he so angry? He wanted everyone to be there, but Hare didn't come, and I wonder why. The next morning he decided to pay a visit to Hare. "Why did you not come to my party last night to see my fine new home?" asked Hyena. "Your fine new home? I hear that is nothing special, just another hole in the wall, and I'm sure your party was quite dull." "That's not very nice of Hare, is it? Why is Hare saying this? That's not a nice thing to say." Hyena says, "You are just jealous because you do not have such a grand home," said Hyena. "I could have one if I wanted one," replied Hare. "Oh, you think so? Let's see then. I challenge you to build a home better than mine in half the time. In 2 weeks' time," so it had taken Hyena 4 weeks. "In 2 weeks' time, I will return to see your home, and I expect to go to the best party ever given. If you can't provide these things you bragged about, I think I'll be wearing a hair coat come winter." That's not very nice either. And off he stormed. "Boy, oh boy, I've really put my foot in my mouth this time," thought Hare. Then, because he was always a tricky fellow, he came up with an idea. He visited all his animal neighbours and asked them to help him build a new fine home. If they did, he promised them 2 great gifts when they were done. All the animals wanted to see what the great gifts were, but some animals did not want to leave their families. So Hare told them to bring their families too. So all the animals built huts for their families and then went to work building a big home for Hare. Because so many animals worked on the home, it was easily built within 2 weeks. Wasn't that clever in a way of Hare to ask for help? Which was a good thing because Hare was too lazy to help build his home. He picked up a log and a stick and spent his time lying around tapping out beats on the log. My goodness, I don't know if that's a clever, crafty or lazy thing to do of Hare. What do you think? Well, when Hyena returned, he found a home that looked a lot like his own. He asked Hare what made his home better. "Well, don't you have eyes to see?" asked Hare. "I don't just have a home, I have a village. Now all my animal friends live close by, and it's easier for us to visit and have fun together." This was Hare's first gift, the village of community. Hyena had to admit that it was very nice to have a community of friends nearby. I think that does make a special home, doesn't it? Then Hare invited everyone to the party. Because there were so many in the village, no one person had to cook the whole feast. Everyone bought the dish they made best. The food was truly as delicious as what Hyena served, but Hyena wanted to know what made it better. Hare said, "Just wait," and began to tap out on the log the rhythm he had been working on while the others built his home. I wonder what kind of beat it was. Maybe you can make one up. And he said, that the beat was very catchy, and pretty soon others started tapping it out. Then Butterfly flew up and started moving her wings to the beat, and before you know it, everyone was making music and dancing. Hare said, "This is my second gift, the drum." Hyena had to admit that Hare's party was better because of the drum. With all the eating, music and dancing though, Hyena wasn't too disappointed. Some people say Hare really presented the animals with 3 gifts: the village, the drum and the music. Some say music and the drum were the same gift. Hare doesn't give an opinion one way or another, but I bet he enjoys the argument. What do you think of that story? What do you think about Hyena coming along and being so angry in the first place that Hare didn't come? And then Hare getting a bit in a muddle, didn't he? By thinking, I shouldn't have said that Hyena's new home wasn't that great. And then, of course, Hyena came back to visit, but Hare had cleverly or lazily asked everyone to help. And those gifts of the home, the community and the music and the dancing all together did improve it, even though the 2 homes were identical. In some sense, he'd built one just like Hyena, but Hyena was trumped because Hare had people around him, the music and the dancing, which is so lovely. So really, what do we think about that in terms of creating home? And how does that make us feel about chapel being another home and the way that it brings people together? Perhaps you'd like to explore that as a family. And I hope it was a good story to finish the month of May on. I have lots of storybooks that I've collected from the year, and I have purchased a lot of them, and I'm donating them to chapel, giving them to Kate to put as a mini library. There are some books also in the cupboard in the hall, and you'd be so welcome to take, I'm sure, if it's okay with Reverend Kate and the board, if you borrow books and return them when you come back to chapel, because stories, in a sense, are magic. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope you're all well, and I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in person. It was wonderful to see you, those of you who made it to the picnic, and I think there's going to be another one very, very soon. If you'd like to say the closing words with me. As we leave this friendly place, love give light to every face. May the kindness that we learn light our hearts until we return. And when I was in chapel last week, Kate said that sometimes at service we extinguish the chalice at the end, and sometimes it's left burning for a little while longer. So with that in mind, I'm not going to blow it out this week, but just bid you goodbye. See you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bright lights,